Some are comparing this digital transformation to the Industrial Revolution. And while the Industrial Revolution did move society forward as a whole, it left several unemployed and discontent. Fortunately, through the power of hindsight and technology, we can now move society forward, but instead, do it collectively. Good afternoon, Julie Zunker and Microsoft team. My name is Aurora, and today I'm joined by my team, Rahan, Kale, and Byron, and together, we are XI Consulting. We are Brightpoint Consulting. Tech is moving forward at such a rapid pace, and people are beginning to start to voice their opinions on what they're concerned about. We've conducted an in-depth analysis and found that Microsoft, you truly are doing everything. You've put both time and energy into your solutions, but unfortunately, there still is a gap. This is where we come in. We've created a bridge solution that truly allows you to connect society and Microsoft solution. This will result in an impact that will not only provide the world, this will result in an impact that will not only provide a better future for the world, but also ensure future sustainability and growth for your company. This leads us to our challenge statement today of Microsoft. How can you utilize your position as a thought leader in order to address both local and global challenges? Microsoft, you have a strong reputation, and you need to ensure that you utilize your power and your platform in order to effect change. So we started by taking an in-depth look at Microsoft and found that innovation is at the core of your business. In addition to this, both corporate social responsibility and philanthropy have been part of your mission since its inception. Microsoft cares both about the environment and the world, diversity and inclusion in both its customers and its employees, and finally, providing trustworthy computing, reliable and secure services to its customers. When conducting an external analysis, a report by McKinsey states that 30% of the hours worked globally could be automated by 2030. An additional report conducted by PwC suggests that our global GDP could rise by $15.7 trillion. And when comparing these two stats side by side, it's clear that there could be a potential wealth disparity in the future if this is not addressed. So who are our stakeholders and who we must consider in the future? Firstly, we need to consider into our shareholders and ensure that we're providing returns to our shareholders. Secondly, we must ensure that we're considering society and in creating an inclusive future for all in technology. And thirdly, we must take into consideration the economic impact that technology has and the effect that it could have on the jobs in our country. I'll now pass it forward to Rahan, who will discuss further the fears that individuals have around technology.
Thank you, Aurora. So it is clear that AI and technology is a vital part of both Microsoft's future business strategy and future in general. However, there's still a negative perception when society addresses AI and thinks about the role of technology in society. According to McKinsey, there are three main factors that contribute towards this negative perception, the first one being automation. It is estimated that 51 million jobs will be lost within the next decade. Number two is the widening skills gap. 50% of the education learned in a technical degree can be outdated as soon as 2020. Now that is a scary stat. Number three is AI bias. Women are 33% more likely to show up when searching a picture of people cooking. Now, if you were to look up a picture of a CEO or an exec, it would almost entirely be comprised of men. That's just a small example of an AI bias. AI is only as inclusive and powerful as the data that you put within it. People want to make sure that their voices are being heard moving forward in this conversation. Now, what is being done about this? Microsoft, you are truly doing a lot with your initiatives and TechSpark projects. You're addressing skills development, inclusiveness, and community partnerships. These are just a few of your many initiatives addressing all of these. However, there's still a negative perception out there. In North America, 65% of people are still either uncomfortable or they don't know much about AI or its role in society. Why is this? We tried looking for a reasoning. Next slide, please. People do not know where to look, how to look for it, and how to learn more about AI. People tend to stick with the first 5 solutions that they see when looking for answers. Through our analysis, Microsoft's solutions were not in any of those. How can we start a conversation and address the gap between Microsoft's solutions and society? I will now pass it over to Kale, who will go into further analysis on how we can achieve this together.
Awesome. Thank you, Rahan. So much like you, Microsoft, we're all about empowerment. And that's why we're so excited today to be here and present to you our solution. Microsoft TELUS. So we envision TELUS as the bridge between society and the users who need solutions and Microsoft's solutions. So what is TELUS? We'll talk about it a little bit. So it's a social campaign built around an AI-powered solution generator. So we're going to have a TELUS page with the following question. What do you think about the digital future? There'll be a text box to type your solution in, and when you press enter, you'll be connected to a Microsoft program or initiative that is deemed most relevant based on our AI generator. This could be LinkedIn Learning or Career Pathways or any of the many initiatives Microsoft has. So why are they going to want to do this? First of all, Microsoft is going to gain information. So insights into the minds of society and the users who need solutions will gain an understanding of the problem from their own perspective. And from a better understanding of the issue, Microsoft will be able to come up with better solutions. As well, we look to incorporate and engage communities to be a part of the solution. We call it Spark Hub, and I'll talk about that a little more later. So thirdly is programs. We want, through this campaign, Microsoft will be able to promote its programs and better connect the users to the programs that they need most. And finally, data. So throughout this process, data is going to be generated, and it's going to be extremely valuable and relevant to Microsoft's initiatives and goals. So let's show you what this looks like. We prepared a little demonstration. Aurora, why don't you tell us what you think about the digital future?
Well, Kale, what you see up here is not only a team, but a perfect representation of the tech industry as a whole. Women make up only 25% of the tech industry, and as someone who wants to enter this industry in the future, I'm worried about where I fit.
Perfect. So let's say you typed in you're female and you're unsure about your spot in the future in the industry. So what comes up?
Whoa, cool. What are these?
So these are the 2 programs that our AI generator deemed most relevant for you, and now you have a simple and clear path for what you need to do to get educated or get involved. So moving on, let's scroll down to the bottom of the page. We have a little survey. Do you want to make a bigger impact?
Sure, I don't mind providing some basic demographic information, such as I'm a female and I am 21 years old.
Perfect. So this survey was designed to help add value to our data. We now have context for the solutions or problems that were given to our main TELUS page. We now know the demographics of the provider, so we know the gender and the age category they fall into, as well as we know their region through using geolocation. While at the same time, we protect the privacy and the control of the user. And finally, on the way to the page, Aurora, did you know?
Actually, I didn't even realize that AI was used in my spam filters, or the fact that I just used AI now.
Perfect. So that's the reaction we're looking for. We want to break down that perception, the negative perception around AI and the digital future by providing subtle little facts and real-world applications today and in the future for AI. So now moving on, how are we going to promote this? Well, we have a marketing video. This video is going to be much like your Make the Change campaign. It'll be 30 seconds to a minute and a half long. We want it to show an optimistic view of the future, as well as where technology can take us. We want to feed off of the prevalent issues and emotions that people can relate most to. We're going to promote this through in-store physical stations at all of your Microsoft locations, starting with a phased rollout in America, as well as on social media through your YouTube account, Facebook, and Twitter. And finally, the call to action within this will be a link displayed at the bottom here that's simple and easy to understand. So moving on now, you may have noticed in the top right corner a subtle little cue. Do you have a solution? So we want to take TELUS one step further. we want to engage the communities to be involved in the solutions. So we call it Spark Hub. And what this is it's a connected platform that allows communities to connect and grow and help solve their problems. And how it does this is it takes all of the data provided to TELUS and using geolocation brings out the most common problems for every region. And the coolest part with this is that users will actually get to be a part of the solution. They can provide solutions to these challenges, and this will help grow the entrepreneurial spirit, feeding off of the momentum of Titletown Tech, but at a more global scale. And finally, we're looking to add seed grants, 15 annually, to the top solutions that Microsoft wants to help roll out. And we're looking to also add to our data collection with more relevant and valuable data that'll help with our goals. So I'll now pass it off to Byron to talk about the financial implications.
Thank you, Cale. So, our solution, you might be wondering what are the associated costs and benefits with implementing our solution. Well, first, our solution actually generates a net value add that's more than double the implied costs through the collection and value of data. So, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, as that number doesn't even account for the potential revenue gains occurring through growth and brand awareness and the usage of Microsoft products. And just to put into further perspective of the cost, it'll only be 0.26% of the allowed budget for the 2017 advertising that Microsoft had. And this really shows how sustainable this solution is. Next, let's look at how this impacts all of our stakeholders. First, we'll start with the shareholders. Now, Microsoft, you have a fundamental obligation to generate profit for your shareholders. And with our unique sustainable solution, you'll be able to generate a positive NPV that will increase the returns of all your shareholders. And as we have seen, there is a positive correlation between brand awareness and stock price. Next, we'll look at how this impacts society. So first, we project that we will have about 1.6 billion interactions with the Microsoft TELUS campaign. This will effectively bridge the gap between all the public and Microsoft solutions. This will also then address the skill gap. We will be able to provide everyone with the resources needed to succeed in the digital future, and we will also be building further trust between Microsoft and its customers through positive AI awareness. And lastly, this will impact the government through the various ways. As we are hinting about inequity in wealth later on, we will address this through giving everyone the further tools to succeed in the digital future, and we will also be providing safe AI development by addressing the AI bias previously mentioned. So let's look at our implementation plan. The beauty of our implementation is that it will utilize all of Microsoft's current capabilities. By leveraging all of these current capabilities, our recommendation will be able to roll out in the second quarter of 2019. And to take you through the various risks, we have concluded that one is decision fatigue, next being the lack of trust in AI, but the most prevalent was low engagement, and we will focus on this one by addressing the most relatable issues to everyone. But I want to emphasize that our recommendation addresses all of these risks and effectively mitigates them. I will now be passing the presentation off to Aurora to conclude.
Thanks, Byron. As you can see, through our recommendation, we've addressed both the perception and the connection issue. Microsoft, one of your core values focuses on diversity and inclusion, and this is exactly what our recommendation reinforces. It's time to take a collective step forward together and ensure that we're preparing society for a better digital future. And now that we've told you our solution, all that's left is for you to tell us.
Quickly, could you just concisely state what is the problem, what is the societal problem that hashtag Tell Us solves, and what was the challenge that Spark Hub solves?
Okay, sorry. So you're asking for the main issue?
Exactly. You emphasize solutions. I'd like to go back and what were the two challenges concisely
So
stated?
the main challenge was connection and perception with overall AI awareness and understanding of it. So this campaign brings awareness to that while also connecting. So it breaks down the perception in that sense, and then it also helps raise awareness through the marketing aspect of it, as well as getting people talking and showing that Microsoft is here to listen for those who feel like their voice hasn't been heard. And Spark Hub, that's a little add-in to the campaign where people will now feel like they can be more involved within their communities, helping share the knowledge. So this Spark Hub, all the solutions and issues will be available to everyone. And this is to help society grow as a whole as we're sharing the knowledge, and that's one of the values Microsoft cares about, and hopefully making a better society moving forward.
Your solutions seem like they really depend a lot on people who are already somewhat familiar. And I think one of the issues that you talked about with AI is a lack of familiarity, people being kind of scared by it. So what does the hashtag tell us? How does that bring in people who are not comfortable sitting down to a computer and going through the exercise that you showed us? I mean, for the people who really are not, who see the technology itself as a scary prospect.
So within our marketing video, we wanted to make it very engaging and display the prevalent issues and emotions that people are most familiar with. And this will help make them more engaged. And if people are scared or they're confused or they don't understand what AI is and they have no idea where to start, and as our studies showed, a lot of people don't look beyond the first page when they're searching stuff, and Microsoft solutions weren't there. So people are having trouble finding it, and we want to make it very clear, very simple and easy to find. We have a page where you tell us what you think. Are you scared? Are you happy? Do you have issues with it? What do you need clarified? So this whole page is very simple and easy to use. And within our risk mitigation, we're breaking down decision fatigue, as rather than overwhelming them with information, we're providing a simple, clear, in the video, a simple, clear link that you go to. And when you go to this link, you have a search bar and you tell us what you think.
This seems very completely in-house. I'm wondering about outreach. You talk about society as a whole. I'm wondering if where it goes from Microsoft, I'm thinking about schools, government agencies, NGOs. What kind of outreach do you plan from this beyond the walls or the conifers of Microsoft?
So I think in the research that we conducted, Microsoft does have a ton of partnerships, and we do believe that partnerships are extremely useful. However, we don't believe that the perception of technology has been addressed yet. So looking forward in the future, we do plan on partnering with more NGOs and schools, but right now we do think it's urgent to kind of introduce this umbrella approach that helps all of the initiatives that Microsoft has and really focus on helping break down the perception.
Just to add on, that was awesome. Just to add on, right now, AI is seen as this otherworldly, super complicated thing that cannot bring us real solutions. So our main goal is to show people and break down that barrier that this can create solutions. This can improve their everyday lives and regional issues, no matter how unique they are. So that's what we really want to address.
And to add again on to that, good work also, Spark Hub is designed to help share knowledge. So hopefully by Microsoft leading the way and taking the first step, other companies can also take this approach too and help. If we want a better society, we need everyone to help get on board with that and make it more inclusive.
Thank you all for your presentation. I'm just curious, how did you figure out, I think on the last slide you talked about an estimated 1.6 billion social impressions or interactions. Can you just talk about how you got to that number?
Yeah. So within our appendix, we started out first by looking at the web traffic that Microsoft has. So the blue line there, that's all the actuals from the past 6 months. And basically you're at about 800 million monthly interactions or traffic on your website. And we projected that out. And with a social media boost, which we see here as the gray line, that's where we see your traffic headed. And within this traffic, we performed a sensitivity analysis right here to identify which level of conversion we need within that total traffic. Which percentage of people do we need who visit the site to actually go to tell us and provide an interaction? And we took a very low conservative number at 10% based on our research. We found the break even to be about 4%. So we think this is pretty conservative. And basically then then I guess that gives us the total interactions.
Can you talk a little bit more about your KPIs and success metrics to know if you're actually impacting lives and if people are following through with clicking your links and learning more and all of that?
So just within, I guess, the traffic that I just talked about, we do have some objectives. We want the social media booster, an objective is to be about 2%, and we hope that traffic would follow a similar path that we see there. And if on those graphs, if the traffic isn't going up, we know that we're not having interactions. And we do have some measures built in just to measure, I guess, the overall traffic, and we look there to see how many people have been actually, if we've increased the amount of people visiting the site and actually interacting.